So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this fire and brimstone edition of the TJ Ritchie Show. Go ahead and get ready. You're going to want to be on the radio with me tonight. Probably, hopefully. 704-570-1110 is the number you can call or text. Same number for the WBT text line, driven by Liberty Buick. And I do that every time I get to talking too fast. Liberty Buick GMC. All right, the reason I'm so excited is because I have a mission. That's right. I have a mission. As of today, I have decided, because I don't have any hobbies. I've been trying to find a hobby lately. I used to ride my Harley Davidson all the time. I haven't ridden that in a while. I'm no good with wood crafts. I'm not good with building things. I'm a fantastic cook, though. I love to cook, but I haven't even been doing much of that lately. So, I have been given a mission today. And that mission is to do everything in my power from this microphone and from my social medias and from anywhere else that I can be heard. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that Rotten Roy Cooper does not get elected to Senate. Since he announced he's running for the Senate, I am going to be on him every day. Because this is, I went into a whole big thing the other night about it. This is not just a politician that doesn't need to be elected. This is a person who took it upon himself during COVID. Let's just take every other crap away that he's done. It was awful, and all the lies and shady mess that he does just by being a Democrat, all of his regular Democrat behavior. This is a man who tried to rule this state and did, for the most part, with an iron fist during COVID. He would get up in front of that camera every day from behind that podium, and he would say, I'm not going to allow this to open today, and I'm going to keep this closed, and I'm going to keep this type of business from opening. He was one of the worst during COVID. This is a sorry, rotten, maniacal piece of human debris. Roy Pooper Cooper. Or Roy Cooper Scooper. Roy, it's time to go to school, Roy. Roy, it's time for you to go be a lawyer somewhere if you want to be a lawyer. If you're not ready to retire, just go away and leave the fine people of North Carolina alone. You've done enough. You have ruined so many people's dreams in this state who had to shutter their businesses because you were following the Democrat playbook from Nancy Pelosi. I know of so many business people that had to just shut down because of Roy Cooper and his iron fist And it was even worse that if you remember those press conferences and everything every day, those reports of, everybody sitting around their TV and they're waiting to see if their business is going to be able to open again. And they're like, please, they're praying. I've been standing with these business people when they were doing this. Please let them say our business can open. Please. Nope. Why? I said, that's why. Why can't my business open? Because I said. It would have been one thing if he really felt badly about it, but he relished every moment of it. He just loved it. You could tell. He loved it. He was on that power trip. And he loves being out in public and getting recognized and sitting in the good seats at the ball games and stuff. I've seen him. Oh, I've seen him. When you run a state as the governor, you're supposed to do everything you can to benefit your citizens. He did everything he could do that would be the worst for the citizens of North Carolina. Don't you remember telling people they can't go outside? That you can't go outside. You can't be in a group that's more than this many people. But something happened that he was out in the middle of a big group and it was just fine. Wasn't it some sort of a Black Lives Matter march or something like that? Oh, that was okay. Meanwhile, you got people with legitimate businesses that they've been working their entire lives to maintain, and he says, nope, close it. And now the Democrats' excuses for all that are they just say, well, we didn't know at the time. We know a lot more now. Now that they know that it was all dumb, it was all stupid, what they made people do. Now, I'm not saying COVID isn't a serious thing and wasn't a serious thing and didn't take some people's lives, but it was handled the complete wrong way, and they knew what they were doing at the time. See, if nothing else in your life jogs that thing in your head that says, oh, the professional Democrats are really not for the people. If nothing else you've ever seen tells you that, the way they conducted everything during COVID, that will tell you. That should tell you. Roy Cooper. So I want to be on him so hard, and I haven't come up with it yet because I've just been thinking about it, but I want to come up with a way that my 11 listeners and I can make sure that he knows we're working against him. It's kind of hard to do when you only have 11 people that listen to your show and all that, but I'm thinking that somebody that works for him has to be living and working in Charlotte, the biggest city in both Carolinas. Surely somebody who works for him knows. So let's spread the word. I am out to make sure whenever I speak to someone in this state that's a voter, I'm gonna plead with them not to vote for Roy Cooper. Now, it kind of goes without saying that I would tell people not to vote for him because he's a Democrat anyway, but he's not even just like the regular Democrat that we should always avoid because they have no good intentions. He's worse. He's hell-bent on this Marxist ideology that used to be called liberalism, but now it's gone further. Roy. It's me, Roy. My name's TJ. I'm going to be your friend. I want to be living in your mind for a while. You hear me, Roy? Watch, I'm probably going to get shut down before the end of the show, but still, I'm going to do what I can between now and then. All right, so we got a lot of stuff coming up, and I'm sure I'm not finished talking about Roy for the night either. This is big stuff, and important. We'll get all in it coming up next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up.
So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
Hey, it's TJ, and yes, my new political show is on. It's every weeknight from 7 until 9 on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. So go ahead and add TJ Ritchie to your home screen on the phone and download the WBT app.
Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
All right. Oh, we're on fire. Fire. It's a fire. Okay, so Roy Cooper says he's running for Senate. Why? I don't know if he said this in his little video or not, but I'm thinking that if he would have been telling the truth, he would have said, because I'm a greedy narcissist. That's what he would have said. But I bet he didn't. So let's see. So looking at, they did an article here in Politico. There's a quote from him in his statement. Right now, our country is facing a moment as fragile as I can remember. And the decisions we make in the next election will determine if we even have a middle class in America anymore. You know, that's what these Marxists always do. They always say that they're champions for the middle class. But they're not really. They're not. And if a man was the champion of the middle class, he wouldn't have shut down so many middle class people. I don't even like the term middle class. We don't have classes in the United States. Class is a Marxist term. We have upper, middle, and lower income brackets, not classes. But if you're Roy Cooper, you would say classes all the time. And you probably also use the term worker to describe people because those are both Marxist terms. Anyway, he said that, you know, of course, this is, he's being selfless here. It's why he's decided to run for Senate. He said that he's going to be focused on the middle class, and he said, quote, he has had enough of politicians in Washington raising the national debt, disrespecting veterans, and putting Medicaid and Social Security at risk. Blah, 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 blah. Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. The playbook never changes. Medicaid, Social Security. Oh, the Republicans are killing old people. Oh. Let's see. What else did he say? He said he's prosecuted criminals and took on scammers, big banks, and drug companies. I never really wanted to go to Washington. Okay. Please, clown. Nobody's believing that. I never really wanted to go to Washington. I just wanted to serve the people of North Carolina right here where I've lived all my life, except the time I lived in Nashville when I was born. I added that part. But these are not ordinary times. Oh, no. He had to step out here, ladies and gentlemen, because he's wanting to save the country, nay, the world. He's not running for office just because he wants to stay in politics and be Mr. Powerful Man and, make money off of being a full-on big-time senator, possibly even being pegged for, president one day, maybe. No, not at all. These are different times. Joe Biden ran, for president because it was, things had gotten so out of hand. He needed to just step in. He didn't really want to be president. They all say the same thing. They're just so slimy and smarmy. I don't even know how they sleep at night. I mean, you would have to be a clinical narcissist or psychopath to be able to do what these Democrat politicians, these professional Democrats, what they do to innocent people every day with their lies and their manipulation and, the way they use people, especially the downtrodden, how they claim to champion and then they use them for their personal gain and brainwash them and all that. You would have to be a clinical narcissist or psychopath to be able to sleep at night and that not bother you. Because, people get called narcissists. Oh, he's just a narcissist because a guy may brag on himself or be a little arrogant. That's not what a narcissist is. A narcissist doesn't possess the ability to care about anybody other or anything other than himself. So how could you have feelings for people and not have trouble going to sleep at night, knowing the things that Democrat politicians do? But then again, that's just my opinion. And again, what do I know? I'm just a glamorized DJ. But I know a bad person when I see one. And I know what you made a living off of. If you've made a living being a Democrat, or you have to make a living by being a Democrat, then yeah. I'm going to say you're not really what you would call a good-hearted person. But I bet you there is going to be some money pouring into his campaign like you wouldn't believe. Oh. But then again, would Roy Cooper, because we know what Roy Cooper is about from his years of being governor, is he any different than any other Democrat? Hang on a second. Look, with some news going on, there's an active shooter with a long rifle on the loose in Manhattan. Just getting the reports of that right now live. So, yeah, so we're gonna keep an eye on that, and during the break, I'll find out what I can on that, and then come back with it. But anyway, we'll be doing more Roy Cooper stuff later on in the show. Now, when I say I'm on a mission to make sure that we get the message out that nobody should vote for him, that's not all I'm going to be talking about. I'm not going to just ram that down your throats, both hours of every night. But we're going to make it fun. We're going to mock. We're going to do all of the things that we normally do on this show. Okay? But right now we're going to take a break and find out what's going on with this active shooter situation in New York. And I'll give you the details, as many as I can get, coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
Hey, it's TJ, and yes, it is going strong. The TJ Ritchie Show. It's my new political podcast on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT, and you need to sign up and get all the inside scoop on everything and get the special little perks by being a member of the Ritchie Gang. Be a gangster. Just go to tjritchie.com and sign up today.
Bringing the heat.
Oh, hot, hot, hot.
Whatever that means. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Okay, here are the details that we have about the shooter in the active shooter in New York. This is the New York Post. It says a crazed gunman wearing a bulletproof vest opened fire inside a swanky midtown skyscraper that houses Blackstone and NFL headquarters, injuring 3 people, including a cop, before turning the gun on himself, sources said. The man entered the building armed with a rifle, law enforcement sources told the Post. At least one police officer was shot at the scene and is in critical condition. 2 civilians were also struck by gunfire, one of which is also in critical condition. Suspect barricaded himself inside and was found dead from a gun-inflicted gunshot. So it doesn't say self-inflicted. It says gun-inflicted gunshot. I've never heard it described that way. He was on the 33rd floor. So, okay. I don't know if that means one of the police got one in and that's what caused him to die, or if he shot himself. The way they've written it here, it would seem like that somebody else shot him, or they would have said self-inflicted gunshot wound, unless they made a typo in the story trying to get it out so quickly. A witness on the first floor said that it sounded like a barrage of shots, like an automatic weapon, like a high-capacity weapon. That's what they said. The injured officer was working in the building on a paid detail, sources said. And that's about all we know right now. Have pictures of him. It says this man was seen wearing a blazer, button down, and dark sunglasses outside the building. But obviously, no word yet on what the motive might have been. But obviously, we're talking about a deranged person here. Now, what'll be interesting is, just like it always is in these situations where the media and the Democrats run to try to blame Republicans in any way they can as quickly as they can, which, is despicable. So I'm not going to be going into any type of speculation like that. We'll just give you the details as we get them, and they're, the details that are, not just hearsay. We'll give you the reports. But since this is radio and you can't see the pictures that they have of him walking down the street with his gun, the rifle, it doesn't look like the typical mass shooter that Democrats will run and try to position as a crazy Republican, the Second Amendment all out of whack, all out of control. Doesn't appear to be that type of person, suspect, or profile, I mean. But we'll see. Maybe we should start a clock just to see how long it takes. Who's going to be the first one to start yelling about gun control? Common sense gun control. That's what they always say. Common sense. Meanwhile, in Michigan, there was some maniac going through Walmart stabbing people. I think he stabbed 11 people. And they stopped him by having a good Samaritan in the parking lot with a gun. Good guy had the gun. Stopped the maniac stabber. But right now, all we know is what I've just told you. And we need to pray for those people who are injured and their families and all, because this is terrible, obviously. But, I mean, there are crazy people all over the place. You never know. Okay. Let's see. Where are we going here? There was a big protest staged in New York over the weekend, and it was a protest outside of the CBS Paramount headquarters, the CBS Broadcast Center in Manhattan on the west side. It was called We're with Colbert, which is stage name Stephen Colbert, real name Stephen Colbert, or Colbert. So all of these people out there to support him and have this big protest because CBS, Paramount, told him that they would part ways at the end of his contract, which is in May. Okay, so now you can't have that because he's a liberal spokesperson. So now they're protesting. Well, here's the good news. They drew so few protesters that it fizzled out within minutes, according to the New York Post. The organizers said they intended it as a nationwide call for integrity. Said less than 24 people showed up. I only have 11 listeners. And I work at the time and on a news talk show where the target demographic is eating dinner or watching TV with the family or, all of those kinds of things. So I only have 11 listeners. And if I decided to stage a protest or I just said, hey, somebody, y'all come meet me out at this, in front of this building tomorrow at noon or Saturday at noon, I could do more than 24 people. But this is a big worldwide star, multimillionaire, and his supporters can't get more than 24 people out for him in New York. So one of the organizers said, quote, "Our country is not perfect, never has been, but we've always had the First Amendment. And now Mango Mussolini, oh, how clever, he must be a writer, is trying to take that from us." You see, this is where liberals always get what the First Amendment is about. This is where they get it confused. The First Amendment says that you have a right to say whatever you want to say. It does not say that you have a right to be heard when you say what you want to say. That doesn't exist. You can say anything as freely as you want to. But if Paramount, CBS, decides they don't want to give you the platform to do it, then you got to say it somewhere else. Nobody's saying that Steve Colbert can't go out and say the same exact things that he's been saying on The Late Show. He can say that he can go stand out in front of the cafe. Say it all day. Doesn't mean people have to listen or agree. You know, the Dixie Chicks did that. Remember that? When the Dixie Chicks went to another country and they apologized for President Bush and for America. And back then, Americans didn't play that. We didn't like it, not one bit. We weren't going to stand for it by dog. And so country radio stations started listening to what their supporters were saying, what their listeners said, and they didn't like it. So the country radio station stopped playing Dixie Chicks music. And then they start throwing, same thing. They got the First Amendment. It's freedom of speech. It's freedom of speech. Yeah, it's freedom of speech. Yeah. But not freedom to be heard. And yeah, I still call them the Dixie Chicks. Remember, they dropped the Dixie because they said they realized how racist that is, and they didn't want to be under that racist name and all that stuff. But I still call them that until they go give back all of the money they made under that racist name. If the Dixie Chicks will go back from the beginning of when they hit it big up until the point where they decided they weren't going to be called the Dixie Chicks anymore, they were just going to be called the Chicks. They give all of that money back or give it away to charities and stuff. Then I'll start calling them just the Chicks. But they made all that money under that so-called racist name. So what does that make them? Because they haven't made a whole lot, nearly as much under the name the Chicks as they did under the Dixie Chicks. But now they don't want to go that far. Remember, Rush Limbaugh always said it. Democrats, it's symbolism over substance. Symbolism over substance. All right. Hang on. We got something else coming up next.
It's TJ Ritchie.
So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off. I think the reason a lot of people, especially girls, don't want to wear hats over the summer to protect their skin is because a lot of the hats look stupid. Honestly, Eric Javits has the cutest hats. I already own 4 of them personally, and I'm going to get even more this fall. They have the cutest straw visors, straw hats. I've been wearing them all summer and so many compliments. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Oh, man. It is so hot around here. Now, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before, but I grew up in Louisiana. And Louisiana is hot and humid. It's terrible. It's terrible. You can't even walk through it hardly. The humidity. But we were out on that Lake Norman Saturday. Whew. I think the water temperature was around 90 degrees. Isn't that crazy? You know, isn't that crazy? You're so crazy. So it was my wife, Jody, my little friend Jenny, and her handsome husband, Michael, and I, we were all out on the boat, and nobody wanted to be the one to say, it's too hot, we need to go in. So we all kept looking at each other going, whew, man, it's hot. Y'all want to go do something else? Well, I don't know, I'm good if y'all are good. I don't. And everybody was ready to go after about 30 minutes. I don't know what we were trying to prove. It's like, is it a weakness for it to be 171 degrees? And you don't want to say it's too hot to be out on the boat? Oh. That's why we got to do something about that. Y'all need to stop with those light bulbs and gas and stuff. I bet if just the people in the Charlotte city limits unplugged their toasters tonight, it would lower the temperature by 7 degrees. That's about as logical as what they tell us actually does, have an effect on the climate. This is all the stuff that they say, the liberals say, is ridiculous. So we might as well hit back with ridiculous stuff. Speaking of ridiculous, on The View, the brilliant political scholar Karen Johnson Whoopi Goldberg, was laying down some constitutional knowledge, talking about the Barack Obama situation, of how he created the Russia hoax, and he and all of his henchmen were trying to basically overthrow an elected president and disrupt his presidency and all of that. And she was talking about how people have called it treasonous. And she doesn't like that, Karen Whoopi Goldberg Johnson. She doesn't like you saying things that are bad on Democrats, whether they're guilty or not. Try to make what you can out of this, and then I'll explain what this idiot is trying to say after you hear it. So listen.
Sitting president just accused a former president of treason. Now, do people realize how serious an allegation this is? And yes. For me, didn't the Supreme Court, under the guidance of this president, say that presidents have immunity? So that would mean that nothing Obama did, because you didn't say no, that only you have immunity. You said
she said nothing that Obama did. Nothing that Obama did, knowing that she knows he did it. She just said it. He did it. But so what? I don't care. So what? He did it. Now listen to the rest of this.
Presidents. So this means you have no right to try to take him to court because he did what he did as president. So how does that work? Is it only you who is clear, or are they all clear? In which case, President Biden might be, kicking some new stuff up to you too. Because if you say nobody has immunity, or everybody, you have to decide which way you're going to go.
I tell you, Whoopi Goldberg sounds more and more like she's sitting in an empty boxcar. Like she's just a deranged hobo, jumping trains, talking out of her head. Okay. Here it is. The Supreme Court ruled, because the Constitution says so, that a president has immunity from charges levied at him for things he did that were part of his duties as president. For example, if a president said, all right, I'm tired of the way this country is acting, we're going to drop some bombs on them. Go drop a couple of bombs over there in blank country. They can't come back after his presidency and say, you committed a war crime and you're going to jail or whatever. Because that's part of his presidency. He's the commander in chief. He makes decisions about war. Okay. Creating false reports to try and incriminate a president by creating this hoax because you don't want him being president, so you're trying to get him overthrown and you're trying to disrupt his presidency because you didn't have any evidence showing what you wanted it to show. So you and your henchmen created something that wasn't true about the president-elect in order to cause him harm. That is not the duty of a president. Therefore, the immunity situation given to presidents may not apply to what Obama has done here. Whoopee. Now, how do I know that? It's because I take a law class every night right here on WBT at 9 o'clock. My professor's name is Mark Levin. Now, I said all that, less eloquently in legal terms than he does, and at a very, very lower volume. But still, you get the gist of it. And the main thing to know is that Whoopi Goldberg is mainly just seems disoriented and talking out of her head now. I think her family needs to have her checked. Bless her heart. Okay, Whoopi. There you go. Oh, look at this. It's almost time for TJ on the news. So I guess we'll get to that next.
More of the TJ Ritchie.
Hey, it's TJ, and the TJ Ritchie Show will be a multi-touch marketing option for all the cool businesses in town. I have no idea what that means. That was written by our business department, obviously, for me to read. If you're a cool business, I guess you know what it means. So go to tjritchie.com and find out more.
Live from the big city of Charlotte, North Carolina, it's TJ on the news.
Here it is, the most anticipated segment of the day, all over the WBT and the rest of the media. It's the highest rated media segment in media and across all media. We got them all. All the stories that you need, with young Isaac sporting a fancy necklace tonight, looking all good, looking like he about to go on a date. You smelling like you going on a date? You got some sweet smelling foo-foo waters on?
I smell fantastic.
All right. And Lonnie Ray had a crazy weekend, but we don't want to hear about it. All right, here we go. Lead story.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
Okay.
Darling, it's better where it's wetter. Take it from...
I'm constantly complaining about, or wondering where our society is going to be if people don't grow up. You got all of these, what I call cadults, that just want to sit around as adults and do nothing but what kids do or what they did as a kid. Now, this event, this activity called mermaiding is catching on more and more around the country. Now, there was a story that I saw about how much popularity it has gained in the D.C. area. And this is where women, not little girls, but maybe some little girls, but mainly women, grown adults, go to a pool and put on mermaid tails, and they splash around and pretend to be mermaids.
Wow.
And they say that it's a great stress reliever to go to the pool and get with other, mermaids. And I even saw a guy dressed in one of these mermaid tails, and they're called mermen. Merman. I'm a merman.
So I guess they're bringing out their childhood. I would love to dress up in a Power Ranger costume. I mean,
right.
I'm not going to.
Mm-mm. You know why? Because you got bills to pay and you got kids and
Yeah.
you got to be an adult.
Daddy's going to look a little ridiculous today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should go for the mermaid deal, though.
So I can fit in, right?
Yeah. Just relieve some stress.
I think we should bring back a little bit of bullying. People should be embarrassed, dude. You walking out here in a mermaid outfit as an adult in the pool?
Yeah. I don't think they can walk out in it. Surely they can't.
They hop. Little hop.
Because, I mean, they want to be where the people are. There's no doubt about that. Y'all don't know what, I just slipped that line in from The Little Mermaid on you. All right, next story. All right, a 2-year-old boy in India has really turned the tables on cobra. There was a cobra out. He was throwing rocks toward the cobra, trying to play with it, and then the cobra coiled itself around the little boy's hand. And as the families went to get the little boy and get the cobra off of him, it was too late. By the time they took one step, that 2-year-old had bitten down on the head of that cobra so hard that it killed it immediately, instantly.
Wow.
Yeah. But the little boy got some venom in him, and then he passed out immediately. But they were able to get him to the hospital in time that he was saved.
That is a rock star kid.
Man.
But
at the same time, I'm not putting my kid in the ball pit with him.
Oh, no.
I mean, I get what he did was miraculous, but he doesn't know his strength. And, I mean, that's some crazy animalistic instincts right there for a 2-year-old.
I couldn't convince myself to do that.
Nah. No.
Much less a 2-year-old just snagging the snake.
But the snake just came up to him and coiled around him, when he was trying to play with it. It just wrapped itself around him, and he just... And I don't know whether he got the venom inside of him when he bit the snake in half in its head, or if the snake actually bit him. It didn't say in the article.
Wow.
Of course, my... I'm trying to read it in the Indian language, and I'm fluent in Indian, but I haven't spoken it or read it in a while, so I'm, a little bit rusty. Next story.
'Cause my monsters are real, and they're trained how to kill, and there's no coming.
Okay, people at a monster truck show. Oh, it's a high-flying monster truck show. This is one of those, it was at an outdoor arena kind of situation, I guess. I'm picturing the fairgrounds doubles as a rodeo arena. In my hometown of Winfield, Louisiana, it's where they do the hog dogging championships with the hog dogs. And so this monster truck went up, did a crazy jump, and then when it landed, one of the wheels flew off of it. So you got this big tire bouncing through the arena, goes up over the little wall into the parking lot and crushes a Honda.
Wow.
And the Honda is parked between two other vehicles. It lands square on the Honda and then keeps going. The vehicles on the other side were not even touched.
There were no people in the car with it.
No, but it was total, complete. It looked like a tree had fallen on it.
Dude, I've always wanted to go. I used to ask my mom all the time, like, Sunday. I wanted to go so bad, but she would never take me, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I actually know a monster truck driver.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That does Monster Jam shows.
Man.
I can introduce you to her. You want me to get you a signed picture or something?
Man, give me some tickets. I want to go.
All right. We'll see if I'm not going. I've been. We used to do promotions there, when the Monster Jam would come to town.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've seen it. So I if I were to get tickets, I would give them to you because I don't want to hog the tickets.
Definitely.
I don't need to go through that again. I've enjoyed myself enough. Finally.
What's that smell? Smells like cornflakes. Or maybe pancakes. A glass of milk. It's something swell.
Okay. You think I'm the first host in WBT history to ever play the song from The Bear in the Big Blue House?
Got to be.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So there's a lot of pervy stuff that's warped people try to get away with in public, but here's one that might not be on your watch list. Police in Burbank, California have arrested a serial butt sniffer, quote unquote. 38-year-old Khalees Crowder was cuffed last Tuesday after he was caught, quote, loitering in the women's department, end quote, of a nearby Nordstrom rack which, by the way, I heard is very nice. That Nordstrom has a nice rack. He was caught on a security camera awkwardly following a female customer around and, quote, inappropriately sniffing her buttocks. Now, can you tell me when someone would appropriately be sniffing a woman's buttocks in a department store? Even if it's your wife, it's not appropriate to be sniffing her in a store in public. He was on parole and has a, quote, documented history of similar arrests and similar crimes.
You know, if somebody's got similar crimes to sniffing butts, maybe we should keep him on the inside for a little bit.
You think?
Yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing. He even went viral before all of this after being caught doing the same thing in 2023 at a Barnes & Noble. So that wasn't that long ago. He also has a long criminal record for burglary, robbery, and indecent exposure. Investigators are looking for additional butt-sniffing victims in the hopes of building a bigger case to keep him off the street. How about the case is that he's crazy? Mm-hmm. See, these are the kinds of things I want to be watching, you know, from a what do you call it, two-way mirror when he's in therapy, because I want to find out what it is that makes him want to do that. That it's an irresistible urge. It's a fetish. Mm-hmm. That's what makes him, satisfies his creepy urges. How do they trace that back? What is causing that? And then make sure that he's put away. Yeah. You know, until he can prove that he's not going to be sniffing. But maybe go old school on some sort of punishment. They have his sniffer unhooked, and where he can't, take away his sense of smell.
Give him COVID.
That's biblical there. give him
the COVID, but don't make his nose sniff.
That's right. Just every time he starts to smell again, just hit him with another COVID. All right. So there you go. There are the brilliant stories for TJ on the news.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Hey, I would love to talk to you. Always want to talk to you, neighbors. 704-570-1110. That's the old horn up here. You want to jump on the horn? 704-570-1110. Also, that's the text line. WBT text line. Driven by Liberty Buick GMC. So great. All right, so we've been getting a lot of texts this evening, and I appreciate all that. This fellow named Marty said, thanks for all you do. Great show. Thank you, Marty. Love that. So, I pointed out maybe a couple of weeks ago now that when you see seems like the most cruel, hard-hearted things that people say on social media, that 9 times out of 10 is coming from a woman. Like, women are just vicious. And, some people say that it's in the nature of a lot of women, because women are, so emotional and all of that. And we have another case of that. This is a woman who is celebrating and laughing and mocking the death of Hulk Hogan. Listen.
Oh, Hulk Hogan died. Maybe we can get Kid Rock next.
So cool, isn't she? Now, I probably don't have to tell you what she looks like. She's, bless her heart, is what she is. One of those situations where I'm not saying this is true, but I have a feeling that she believes that it wouldn't do any good for her to try to look clean and pretty and, you know, have any type of effort into looking decent. She would rather just blame society on the fact that she's not treated like the pretty girls, and therefore she lashes out at people she thinks are responsible, the Republicans. She's like I don't know, you would say like an outlet version of Kathy Bates. Kind of what she looks like to me. And we have another instance of that with people, not people, but lunatic liberals lashing out at Sydney Sweeney. Now, Sydney Sweeney is one of the most popular young actors, or actors in general, right now in all of show business. And all of the, I would say every guy 40 and younger thinks that she's, if not the hottest, like one of the top 3 hottest celebrity women. She's that pretty. And she did an ad for American Eagle. And the ad talked about jeans, because she's modeling these jeans. And they're doing a play on words with jeans, Genes, and Jeans, which is kind of clever. But when you're a lunatic liberal and you want to find something, anything you can grasp at to hit social media with and make it seem like that you matter in the world, like you're important because you have this important message or this important observation that you've made, then you end up making a fool of yourself. And this is just one of them. Listen.
Will be the friend that's too woke, because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
My body's composition is determined by my genes. Hey, eyes up here.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Okay.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like that is Nazi propaganda. I also am thinking about like all of the young girls who are doing their back to school shopping right now at places like American Eagle who are seeing ads like this. Yikes. Also, American Eagle is mostly a brand that like teenagers to like young adults shop at, and so the fact that like this type of advertising is being used that feels so for the male gaze and so over sexualized, like I just don't like it.
When she says the male gaze, she's not talking about gay men, Gays. She's talking about the male gaze as in Gaze, like you would oogle somebody, you know. So she's just got to rip it apart, and it all comes down to one thing. I mean, obviously people know that genes do determine your hair color, your eye color, and whatever else. Which is fine to point out unless you're white and you have blonde hair and light-colored eyes. Then you're a Nazi if you point out that science. But this boils down to this young lady, young woman, being jealous of Sydney Sweeney and every other girl that looks like her because she's the opposite. She is the opposite of Sydney Sweeney, if you know what I mean. So, lash out. People are so quick to call other people that they try to find Nazi and everything that they disagree with, and they usually just end up making themselves sound like idiots because you don't know what you're talking about. And again, I know I'm a simpleton to a lot of people, but a lot of this jealousy on the left comes from people feeling like outcasts. Not necessarily because they've been bullied or shunned, but because they put restrictions on themselves and blame it on other people. And then they want to lash out because they can't stop and look at themselves and go, you know what? I could have done something different with myself or with my life. But they find somebody to blame it on, and it's usually people who are what they determine to be better than they are. And then, the whole thing with, I bet she thinks she's so much better than I am. Look at her, flitting around there in her jeans and that. It's most of the time the most unattractive feminists who will try to call out somebody else for receiving the male gaze. Like she said, it's all about the male gaze, and that's horrible, to try to get men to think you're pretty. It's the same as if I said, Michael Harris, the center fielder for the Atlanta Braves, sucks. He's terrible. I don't know why anybody would watch baseball at all. It's dangerous, and it sucks people in, and it's Nazism for people to watch baseball. And if I said that because I didn't make it as the center fielder for the Atlanta Braves, because I would have wanted to play center field for the Braves. But since I didn't, then I should sit and blame everybody else and then say the Braves are no good, baseball's no good, society has made baseball evil, and I don't know why, and children watch this. Why? What are we doing? So it's all boiled down to that. And then the Democrat politicians come along and they know these weak-minded people, and they're like cult leaders, and they say, come be part of our family. We'll love you. We'll support you. We'll celebrate you. And so they march in, and then they can't march out. Okay. Ooh, I'm running late on this segment, so I'm going to take a break and then come right back. Hang on.
It's TJ Ritchie.
Hey, it's TJ, and the TJ Ritchie Show will be a multi-touch marketing option for all the cool businesses in town. I have no idea what that means. That was written by our business department, obviously, for me to read. If you're a cool business, I guess you know what it means. So go to tjritchie.com and find out more.
He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the show. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Young Isaac is I know people have been talking to you about it today, and you may be getting tired of it, but you are dressed more fancily than you normally are.
Thank you.
You've been on a job interview or something? You got a date after this? What are you doing?
I believe it or not, I'm not done laundry, so this was one of my last T-shirts.
Wait, that's
it's
not
a T-shirt. It's a button up.
Look, hold on. Oh yeah.
Nice.
That's like you're too young to remember this, but that looks like a Bernie Mac shirt.
Hey,
a cool Bernie Mac shirt. And I didn't picture you as a necklace man. You got a necklace on. You wear that all the time?
Yeah, it's always on.
Yeah, but you
usually just under the T-shirt.
And might I commend you, because a lot of young men make this mistake, and I guess you never have, or I would have known, of wearing a necklace on the outside of their shirt.
That's outrageous. I don't do it.
I don't
tuck it.
I
Keep
don't
it
like
tucked at
that.
all times.
No, if a man is going to wear, which I'm not a big fan of jewelry on me anyway. I wear a rubber wedding ring, and then most of the time I wear a watch, like a real watch, not an Apple Watch or some kind of thing like that, a real timepiece, so to speak. But I'm not a fan of the necklace on me.
Yeah.
But man, those baseball players will wear a necklace, won't they? Good Lord.
In a heartbeat. What about
It's
Lonnie's?
so gaudy.
Lonnie's got that rainbow necklace he always keeps on.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about you now.
Oh, okay.
Lonnie's too far gone. We can't save him.
Poor Lonnie.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not trying to save you, because obviously you're doing it right. You're keeping your necklace on the inside, not out on the outside of your T-shirt. Good deal. But do you only wear that one necklace, or do you have others that have like medallions on them and stuff?
No medallions.
Just
Just the
simple.
one. A friend gave it to me a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on that night. Hadn't
Cool.
took it off yet.
Looks good. Why is Lonnie out there in the hall laughing? What have we said is funny?
He's jealous.
Has he been picking on you about your necklace or something?
He tried to.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm not picking on you. I'm just talking about it.
Yeah.
Just curious. Well, I told you, I think you're a handsome boy.
I can't help it.
You're just adorable. Absolutely adorable.
Just a curse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, the environmental nuts are at it again, and I think it's gotten to the point where most people don't even take environmentalist people, these wackos, seriously anymore. So there's a group trying to cancel the Blue Angels shows, and this is the news report where we were talking about it. Listen.
A local coalition against the Blue Angels air show has taken their protests up a notch with this billboard they just put up on Rainier Avenue South here in Seattle. They're hoping to put an end to the air show, which is a staple part of Seafair Weekend. The group leading the charge calls themselves the Air Show Climate Action Coalition. Member Mary Patterson says on their list of complaints, climate, air, and noise pollution. They're also calling it a waste of taxpayer funds and fossil fuels. She says the billboard will be up here for a month.
Don't you love how, these commocrat politicians and these Marxist protesters and everything always are worried about taxpayer money when it's going to something that they don't agree with. Otherwise, just there's no limit to taxpayer money. Noise pollution. God, these people are pathetic. They really are. And of course, the main reason that they don't want the Blue Angels show as part of their, what they have to look at in the sky is because the Blue Angels pilots and jets are an amazing display of military might and what our military, just a small little segment of our military can do. They don't want that. They hate America. They don't want anybody feeling the American spirit and patriotism from anything. They're trying to make other people hate America. So that's why they try to take away everything that's associated with patriotism. try to shut down 4th of July activities, fireworks, scare the dogs too badly. Let's not do fireworks anymore. And it's always something. They really are. They're always whining and complaining about something. So, I mean, why don't we do like old school parents used to do and say, let's give them something to cry about. Hey, you're going to cry. I'll give you something to cry about. Meaning you really don't have a reason to be complaining or crying because I haven't really done much to you, but I will do enough to you to make you cry and be warranted. You know, your tears will be warranted. So I say we do the same thing with the liberals. Let's give them something to really make them cry. So whatever they're protesting, let's give them 10 times more of it. And I also think that we are going to have to start denaturalizing and deporting. That's going to have to be the double D plan pretty soon in America. So the whiniest and complainingest among us are protesters, and the protesters that are trying to change America into some other culture or some other country and telling us we can't have a country. Those are the most whining and complaining people. Like that Ilhan Omar and that Rashida Tlaib. You know, I think we should, or President Trump should immediately denaturalize and deport Ilhan Omar, representative from Minnesota, because she's blatantly out to go against our country and our culture and turn it into Somalia, where she's from. So yeah, if you're in this country and you're out to do it no good and nothing but harm, and you came from another country, then you need to be deported. So I'm sure I'll hear a little bit about that, but it only makes sense. Why would you have somebody in the House of Representatives or more than one somebody who wasn't born in the country, not a citizen, and was naturalized? Why would you keep them naturalized, not denaturalize them and deport them? They don't want to be here, obviously. Okay. We have some other stuff that has been breaking, and we'll try to get to that. And I have some more just crazy audio to play for you that it's not really political, but it's kind of funny. Coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
We have an update on the situation with the shooter in Midtown Manhattan. We said earlier when it first happened that people were injured and in critical condition and all. Well, the latest report says a police officer and at least 4 other people were shot and killed. Several others injured by a crazed gunman who stormed the Midtown skyscraper. The 27-year-old male maniac is identified by sources as Shane Tamura. Said he barged into the 44-story building, armed with a rifle, opened fire at around 6:30 p.m. during evening rush, sending employees running for their lives. Okay. So I guess everything else we've known. So he's from Las Vegas. And I guess, when the investigation gets underway and they start trying to find what he was all about and the motive and all of that. Man, it is a rotten world. They say that he killed himself. Now that's what they're saying. Okay. So we'll have more as it becomes available, as they say, on WBT. Okay. From time to time, I like to spotlight for you when someone sends me something from the social medias that is an old man, and they'll say this is going to be you when you're old because of what the guy does. If it fits, then I'll share it, and I think this one fits. This is an old guy who is selling watermelons on the side of the road in Arkansas, and two ladies who are on a road trip pull up, and they got they're videoing him and asking him questions. You'll be able to hear he doesn't have a tooth in his head, just an old country fella. And this is how the exchange went. Listen. Hold on. Let me get it. I'm pointing at Isaac to play it, and I'm the one that has it. Duh. Here we go.
Up out of the way.
We're on a road trip.
Huh?
We're on a road trip.
All right. Were you going this way? North? I think so. They got a good place up there at McGee.
McGee's?
Hoots. Good. Anything you want.
Okay.
Good food.
That sounds
up
good.
The roadaways, McGee's.
Ma'am. Yeah, right straight up this road here.
All right.
It's Hoots. You go into McGee. First town you come to up there.
He's so nice.
It'd be the first red light. You go through from here be one red light. You go through it. That's right up in town, past
sweet.
Walmart. And go up there about a half mile further, and there's a cotton gin sitting there, and then this big cafe says Hoots.
Okay.
Right there on the right.
So, do you have a farm?
Huh?
Do you have a farm?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Truck patch.
Yeah?
Where y'all from?
I live in Boston.
Boston? Oh.
Boston? He stopped being nice all of a sudden. Boston? Oh.
Boston, not Boston. Boston.
Probably had a heart attack. Boston. Huh. But then don't go to where I said go. You won't appreciate it. Huh. Man, that selling watermelons on the side of the road in the summer is a hard way to make a nickel. Whew. Out there in the heat. But you always try to park on the side of the road where there's some shade. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Boston. My God. Oh. I ain't never seen nobody from Boston in person. Only on the TV. That wouldn't be me. I'm not like that about people who aren't Southern. Unless they act crazy. And then, of course, we got to do that. Or weird. A lot of people who aren't Southern are just weird. They talk about Southerners being weird. No. A non-Southerner that's weird is 10 times weirder than a weird Southerner. And if you're offended by that, because you're not from the South originally, then I'm obviously not talking about you. Then you must not be weird. I said weird non-Southerners, people who are not from the South and weird, are way more weird than Southern people who are weird. That's the fact. Look it up. Joogle that. It'll tell you. It'll tell you on the Joogle. All right. Don't forget that you need to be telling every person who is eligible to vote in the state of North Carolina, what a rotten person Roy Cooper is. RC. 11 people listening to the show can, each of you tells 3 people, and then they tell 3 people, and then we can really get it go. I really don't think, though, that there's anybody in the state of North Carolina now that after the way Roy Cooper ruled with his iron fist during COVID, that I don't think anybody's left that really would think that he's a decent person. But you do have people that are just so addicted to voting Democrat that they wouldn't let it, they wouldn't let the common sense get through. I mean, I really think that some people are so dedicated to the Democrat Party that even that they know that the professional Democrats are always up to no good and lying and shady and all that, that if Satan himself put a D by his name and said, I'm running for office against this Republican, people who call themselves Democrat voters would still vote for him. And they would think, well, he's not going to be that bad to us. He'll torture the Republicans, but he's going to be cool to us. I'm kind of envious of that kind of dedication. I want people that dedicated to me. I want to be a cult leader. Why can't I be a cult leader? I deserve to be a cult leader. Then again, I guess you got to be kind of organized to be a cult leader. You have to keep, good records, and you got to keep up with who's in the cult and who's not, who's a member, who's allowed to leave, and who's not. I wouldn't be able to keep up with all that. I'm kind of a disorganized mess. It's because I'm creative. That's what I tell people. Okay, so Monday night under our belts here. Mark Levin is on next. And I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, God loves you. Ain't nothing you can.
So I recently purchased the last pair of sunglasses Kyle is ever going to need. They're called Maglocks, and they're magnetic sunglasses by Distill Union. You have to check these out. They're magnetized so they stay on your shirt no matter what you're doing. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 20% off.
Hey, it's TJ, and the TJ Ritchie Show will be a multi-touch marketing option for all the cool businesses in town. I have no idea what that means. That was written by our business department, obviously, for me to read. If you're a cool business, I guess you know what it means. So go to tjritchie.com and find out more.